Test mic, test mic, test mic. Test mic, test mic, test mic, test mic, test mic, test mic. All right. All right. Good morning, everyone. It's local time here is we are in California, and local time is 9:24 in the morning. Market is about to open in the next 6 seconds. I will be trading an hour today before heading to the conference. All right, so let's see what the SPY had been doing. So for SPY, let's see. It's Friday, so happy Friday. And just like with every Friday, we want to be careful and we don't want to overtrade, most especially that we're heading to the weekend. We don't want to think about our trades over the weekend. We want to have a nice, no regret kind of day to day. In that way, we don't have to think about it over the weekend. So let's see here. Uh, SPY is the daily. SPY is almost a flat one, 0.19% down. So that's not really a big thing for SPY. Looking at the 30 minutes with SPY, I do have a very limited screen today. So only two screens. So we'll make the most out of this two screens that we have. So let's see. For our list today, stocks that I'm looking at, the biggest gap down is HCP. HCP. So this is a big gap down of 19.4%. Let's put in our level here. We do have 5 minutes, so we have to make this quick. I'm just gonna be using my 30 minutes. Okay, I just set up my hotkeys as well last night. So I'm just gonna be using same color here just to save time. So that is the pre-market low, pre-market high, of course, not considering the post-market. And the 5 minutes right here. So that's HCP. That's the biggest gap down list that we have. Next one, AMD did not get to trade yesterday. I was in the airport yesterday, and AMD was so active though, was looking at it as well with their streaming. It went from 120 all the way to 129. So 120 all the way to 129 yesterday. They did had a good news about new microchip that they have. Apparently, thank you. Apparently, there is yeah, a new microchip that is out there. So certainly with the microchip game, they are ahead of the game. I can't even remember the last time we did had a news with Intel. So right now, the biggest microchip company is AMD as well as Nvidia. But Nvidia that doesn't really like looking at Nvidia that much just because Nvidia is a high price stock. Next one is Tesla, but that's a high price. CCL had been very active as well. So with our CCL here, almost all-time high. Couple of weeks, it had been just trending higher. So pre-market low here is 1787 with a high of 18.17. Not a lot of movement. And then we do have gap down is Lulu, but that is a high price stock. 445, might as well just trade SPY with that. So let's see the EV sector. EV sector XPEV just down by 3.2%, not a lot. 2 minutes before the market opens, pre-market high 15.9. Pre-market low is 15.44. So we have to consider that that only moves 50 cents. Roblox had been very active for the past couple of days. So for Roblox, developed three touches there to the high, looking at the daily. Now with this one, with one that's getting all-time high, I find this one a bit challenging to trade just because I'm mostly on the reverse trade. So when they're on all-time high, it's challenging to do the reverse of that just because if they're too strong, then right at the open, you wouldn't expect it to have a pullback. It's just gonna go higher as well, just like going with the trend. All right, so 30 seconds before the market opens, HCP did had that good move already at the pre-market. AMD, very strong. CCL, flat. SPY, Roblox, all-time high. And XPEV. XPEV is just right here. So the most interesting one here is HCP. HCP, the spread here is 0.04. All right, so market is now open. Looking back at SPY. SPY at the daily is an inside bar, meaning it can be a chop zone because it can just go inside yesterday's high and low. So it can just go in range. The one that's easy is a trade of what we call a trend day, which is a gap up, a gap down by SPY. So right now we're inside. AMD. AMD, we are in that pre-market high, pre-market low range, looking like it wants to have a pullback. How much of a pullback are we looking at? We don't really know. With HCP actually looks like it found a bottom at 18.56 or 59. The only thing is if it had a gap down that big, 19.7, having a long trade on this is reversing the strength or the weakness of this one. So what I'm looking at HCP to do is a weakness in so yeah, what I'm looking at HCP is a weakness, either a weakness that can be seen in a VWAP, a weakness that can be seen in a 9 EMA, but definitely will not take this long. Right now, the level that we're in is that pre-market high. Pre-market high here is 20.11. We did had a rejection at 20.11, and that 20.11 is the high of the pre-market. And yeah, thinking short on this one. We are heading to the VWAP. So just gonna be a short small share size. Short here is trying to put in 19.5856. I have to be very careful with this. The good trade is 19.8 to the short. But it already had moved above that. I did not get my orders filled on the short just because, yeah, the hotkeys that I have that I set up last night is not working, which actually is good that I did not get to have a short because it had that VWAP as a bouncing point. So looking at a lower time frame, our 1 minute here, we change this one to a lower time frame as well, our 15. All right, big rejection at 20 in 1 minute. Our 5 is not as clean. 5, 20.3 or 20.14 can be the strong resistance there. I do not see anything that can trigger us with a trade in the level 2. But yeah, had a good rejection at 20. So we have a good support there. Wow. I don't like how the stock is trading. That was a big drop from 19 to 19.6. If you're going to enter this position, you have to have a very small position just because of the drop that happened. Um, so I'm going to enter with a small position. Okay. Let's see if it filled my. Just hard to not have a hotkeys right here. So stop loss here, just because I have a small position, is going to be at that 20. But not the cleanest stock here, just because when we were in the 19.98, there was just a sudden drop right there. So there's a big order sitting at 50, and that can just have that drop right there. I added to my position. This is the move that we were waiting for. See, that ad that I wanted did not get me filled. So unfortunately, let's see here, so orders is still there. Um, order line movement in chart area config. Cancel. All right, so I am short HCP. Average cost here 19.54 with that ad. Okay, so just gonna have to monitor this one very closely. Gonna stop loss here is still this level, 19.98. So see how weaky this stock is? So stop loss is, since it's just 2.02 away from 20 cents from having that $20, I will have my stop loss in $20 dollars. See if I can add to my position here. So yeah, stop loss is still $19.20. Definitely not the cleanest stock to trade here. But with the list that we have, we don't really have a lot of good movers though. So that's the thing. So still on the sideline, whether there's a big order at 19.8, 19.82, 19.8 here. So big order right there. Just because of how weaky this stock is, not going to be adding for now. Let's see what the 5 minutes would look like. 5 minutes, because we do have our pre-market low all the way to 18.6 right here. We are very close to getting stop out here. Big order 1980, 1980 right here. That is almost 50,000 share size. So I have that stop loss in the 20, almost about to get stop out there. Big order sitting right here, which is very weak. HCP, that ordered is not there anymore. 1 minute or 5 minutes, still very weaky. 1 minute, looking at the volume bar, not a lot there. Trying to see if it's a good place to add here. I added to my position. So short here. So with the add, let's see, average cost here is 19.58. So still having that 50 cents risk here. 1958 of exactly 42 cents as the risk. So risk here is still going to be at that 20. Just added a small position. So we only have one open position here, and that is HCP. So HCP here, just managing a small position to the short with average costs of, let's see, average cost with add 19.58. Stop loss is still at that 20. All right, no imbalance, but there is a big order at the ask at 21. Let's look at our daily. Daily, we are close to all-time low here is back in November 6th. Stop loss is still at that 20. 5 minutes. So there's no direction here with this one yet. The 5 minutes looks like it had a pushed up, not a lot of volume there. So this one can still go either direction. So just managing that small position, stop loss still at the 20. So let's make sure that once that $20 is triggered, then we are out of this trade. 1985, just lots of print here. 97, 85, 58. We're back in 78, 73. Still printing 80. Looking at the tape here. 1979. Yeah, this one just doesn't have a follow through. But what I don't like about this is it's taking its time. We are still at the VWAP and we're just waiting for that drop right there. But let's see if it will have the VWAP as hands is on the trigger to close this trade if we reach 20. 1986, big order at the ask. Okay, 1990 coming through there. Let's see, the spread now is 0.02. We are at 1990. There was an order that went 19.5. What is the volume here? Volume is 2.7 million. Slightly climbing up there in the 1 minute. And let's see the float here. Float is 100 million. So not a low float stock. And what is the news here? All right, 1990 building up there. Hands is on the trigger. Closing this position if it goes at 20. 19.97, 96. All right, so I'm out of that position. See, I actually hit the short button rather than the buy, rather than the covering position. So, let's see. Yeah, I hit the short button. All right, so I'm out of that position right there. So let's see. That one have that. This one looks like, looking at the 1 minute, we are heading to there's a big volume bar that came through there. Trying to think if I can re-enter this trade. 5 minutes have a big rejection in 20.11. And thinking of reshorting this one. 19.99. All right, so we entered short here. So the new average cost that I have is 19.96. We did had a big rejection at 20.11 that happened. But we do have to be very careful with this just because of how wiki this stock is. So looks like post market, that was the big move that happened here in this stock. So stop loss here is still, yeah, that high of the day, 20.16. 20.15 rejection there. We're back in 2012. I have never. This is one of those stock that is just so not clean at all. Spread is 0.05 now. Still in this trade. Wow, it's just so wiki that 19.96 is the average costs. Big rejection at 20.2. And then after that rejection, let's see if it will have that follow through. 5 minutes is having that higher high, higher low. Not the cleanest trade at all, not the cleanest stock. So yeah, still short here. I just don't like how the 5 minutes looks like. If you look at the 5 minutes, look at how big those wicks are at the top. And those can be just those stop loss that are hit versus the stock having not the best spread. Spread is from 19.88 to 19, let's see, 3.03 cents spread. This is retesting that again. The resistance that we get to create here is 20.19. So 20.19 is the new stop loss here. Let's see how it reacted to VWAP. VWAP at 19.56. It should right back up. And then still struggling there. With the way that this stock is moving, I don't really trust about having it a good follow through because it had been faking out a couple of times already here where it will just have that drop and then it will shoot back up. So this is another test of the support there. It is back in that 19.9. Yeah, so that's the reason why the strategy here is giving it a little wider spread, but or wider stop loss, but the stop loss is at 20.2, which is the high of today, which is the high of this week, 20.2. So 20.2 here. So even if it's below that moving average, look at how wicky that is. So 19.99. So we got stopped out with that 20.11, and then we went short again. Now with the average cost of 19.96, but we are just going nowhere now. Um, let's see our volume here. And looking at the higher time frame, looking at the 30, let me look at the 15 minutes here. 15 minutes, still higher high, higher low here. With the daily as well with the 1 minute, I don't like that the volume bar here is not there anymore. That means we're heading to consolidation. The 5 minutes, we had a new, let's see here, 5 minutes. You have the inverted hammer right there that it created that the highest of that is at 20.18. That is the inverted hammer there. 1989. So order that's sitting there. Now this one looks weak now. So with that weakness, let's see if I can, um, yeah, we do have inverted hammer in the 5. 1989. Just don't like that it's so weaky. So I says accepted my order. Alright, so I added to my position there to the short. Stop loss is still high of the day. But be very careful with this one. It's not the cleanest stock ever. So went all the way to 20.2, and then now we're just struggling here. And here it goes again. Are we creating another wick? 19.89. With that add, our average cost is 19.94. What is SPY doing? Just looking at SPY here. SPY had a big pushed up. Volume bar right here. So now when I look at the stock like this, look at the pre-market. Did a good move happen already in the pre-market? So we did have that inverted hammer in the 5 minutes, which was, it tried to test the high of the day here at the pre-market, the 20.23, and then got the rejection there. So stop loss here is that 20.19. And of course, if we did find a big rejection to our thesis in the bid and ask, then that's the time to abort this trade as well. Um, 15.94. What time is it? 9:53. So no follow through here. Bunch of red prints here. Let's see. This one is short selling restriction. All right, so we're heading there again. Next resistance is this level right here, 20.04. So 20.04, that was a big squeeze right there. Squeeze and then rejection. All right, so next we are heading close to our stop loss there, 20.19. Then rejection. Oh my gosh, this is not the cleanest stock at all. So close to, okay, so I'm out of that trade. That trade did not work. I did not like this stock at all. It's just so not clean. Um, yeah, so that one was a big squeeze right there. HCP. And this can just have the rejection there, but I don't want to be involved with that trade anymore. All right, so let's look for a different one. So that trade did not work. And huge squeeze happened. 15 minutes. Yeah, it looks like it's just a counter trend now. Counter trend is just so hard to catch though, because it's a gap down and then now is filling the gap. So with the filling the gap, it's really hard to tell whether how much of filling the gap it will do. Let's look for an easier trade. Roblox here. That triple tap 1, 2, 3 in the daily. Wow, this one is even way cleaner than that. Way cleaner than HCP. What is AMD doing? AMD had rejection in 130. The daily, this is the one that we were talking about. It's hard to trade just because it's almost like this all-time high. Going back to this HCP, is it even worth it to trade this one? We'll try to do a last trade here. Um, let's see. HCP. Is it done? Pushing up yet? Where is our VWAP in? Let's see, 20.4. All right, re-entering short here. Last trade in HCP to the short. And then if, yeah, stop loss here is the high of that day or the high of today, which is 20.43. There's just not a lot of stock to trade today. So we shorted HCP here. We did so that one was a drop there. Let's see if it will have a follow through. So short HCP. See how quick this one is getting buff? Every time you have that short, then it just get buff so quickly. Alright, so last short here. So the new average cost that I have there is that 20.16. It's just so hard to trust this stock now. After all that fake out. So having that support again in 20.02, if that support is broken, then higher probability that this trade will work now. Otherwise, yeah, no, net have to. This would be the last trade here for HCP. Just added on that. SPY pushing up. So the difference now with HCP is the 5-minute volume bar is there. Big volume bar at the red. Bunch of orders at the bid. We have 20s now at the bid. Trying to add 20.07. Okay, so I added to my short there. With that add, average cost is 20.12. Not the best trade that we've done. All right, so let's see here. HCP. Let's see if this is gonna give us the move now, because it gave us that struggle. But the thing that I get to see here is that 5 minutes, this 5 minutes right here, the volume bar came through, but we did had to have a couple of stop loss there. So we got stop out. We have a VWAP right there. But yeah, messy trade. Let's see, we are now at the VWAP in the 1 minute. The thing that I saw here is 9:55. The volume bar to the downside had picked up. But this one had the first stab here did have a very not the cleanest move. So we still We're still in this trade. Average costs 20.12. Do not expect this one is just gonna be a clean move because we have not seen a clean move here from the start. This can just easily get bought. So if you already captured that move, it's okay to take some partial. Partialing is always is a good thing, which is, let's see here. So now we are seeing that move, but it shook us. Definitely shook us there. All right, taking some partial here. Um, let's see. So took some partial 1965. Now the tide had turned. Did had some buyers that went through there. That's expected. That is already a big move there from 2011 or 2012 as the average cost. Expect some consolidation to happen here because we are at the VWAP. Took some partial again. All right, next leg down. Our 5 minutes is still weak here. So next leg down here, what time is it? 10:05. I do have a conference starts at in 25 minutes. So let's see here. We do have a bunch of orders sitting at the bid. Uh, big orders there. The tides have turned here just because of the 5 minutes. We are now about to break that support 19.63. So 19.63, 62. About to break that support 19.61. Now, bunch of orders now is at the bid. Volume bar here is dying. We need to have more of the volume bar for this one to have a bigger move. That one was a big wick that happened, 19.64. Okay, took some partial there. All right, so partial again. But this one, we have some bids sitting there. So from 20.11 or 2012 is our average costs now at 19.6970. We did had that move of, yeah, more than 50 cents there. 5 minutes trying to defend the VWAP. I won't be surprised if this one just shoot up the VWAP as well. That's how not clean this stock is. That it's just highly manipulated stock. 19.66. We're defending that support. All right, defending that support 19.63. We are about to lose this support. There's a big order at 1950, so we're heading there. Next destination here 19.50. Bunch of orders at the bid for 19.50. What is the spread now? 0.02. Okay, that order did that order get filled? 19.59. We're still trying to defend that VWAP here. All right, 5 minutes. Trying to defend the VWAP, but the 5 minutes we are below the VWAP. Looking at the 15 minutes here. 15 minutes. Yeah, the clean trade there is in the 15 minutes. Would have not been part of this if I just waited patiently there. But I thought we're gonna create a VWAP play. That's why I entered that VWAP, but we did get a rejection. Okay, bunch of they're defending the VWAP. We're now at the VWAP. The sign pushed up. We're gonna looking at the 5 minutes. 5 minutes is about to close, and we have a new one in the next 15 seconds. Okay, bunch of prints of red came through as well. All right, so just cover some position as well. So let's see, we're back at the VWAP. They're trying to defend the VWAP here. 5 minutes looks like it had reached that reversal there to the long now. That's why we partial there. All right, let's look at our tape. 20 minutes and I should be yeah, out of here. But we were able to capture that move after a couple of stabs though. Okay, looks like 5 minutes. Let's look at our volume bar in the 5 minutes. There's not really a lot of let's see if they will defend this VWAP. Big rejection again happened. Still have some small position left. All right, 19.76, big order sitting there. And a lot of volume bar right here. And 15, 10, 11. 19.76. SPY just went above R3 there. 19.73, big orders at the bid. I did see this hammer at the bottom of this 5 minutes though. Let's see if we're gonna have a continuation to the downside. All right, 19.8, rejection there. What I'm looking at here is if it tested again the support 19.57, then we'll see a massive move here. Because after we break that support 19.57, then the next support is the low of the day 19.34, which is this one is heading to 1956, 1965 here. Look at how the tides have turned. We do have a lots of a bid now, lots of order at the bid compared to the ask. 19.67. So since our average cost is all the way up here, I'm able to hold this the remaining shares longer. 55, I like those red prints, but as soon as those red prints came, bunch of 19.71 came as well. So they are trying to defend this VWAP right here in the 5 minutes. So with this stock that is not as clean, you have to be very careful because they can just push this right back up, just like what they did here. So that one, the one that they created when it pushed all the way up here, was it created, it tested the high of the pre-market. That high of the pre-market pushed up here and then got a rejection there. That rejection, comparing the volume bar from the rest, that one was the almost like, almost the same as here. All right, so this candlestick, and we're gonna have a new 5 minutes in the next 25 seconds. Um, but we have to be aware though that this level right here is, oops, it created that, right? So we have to consider that it could create a reversal now. So yeah, be very careful with this. I would like to see and have this one break the support 1968. There you go, and that went so quick. I was just looking at that price. If that 1968 is broken, and then next support is 1957. Not a lot of volume when we're pushing down, when we rejected the VWAP. What I can see here though is there's still stocks of volume at the bid right here that's piling up. 15 minutes. So this is a perfect example where this one is so weak. That's why we were short bias at the open. But look at what SPY is doing. SPY is just broke above R3, haven't looked back since the open. The lowest price of SPY was when it opened at 457.5. Now it's at 459, 460 now. So it is exactly the opposite of what SPY is doing. It is not getting that influence from the SPY because right at the open, this one has that big gap up. I was looking at the news if there's any about HCP. I can't find any particular news, but with that big gap down, you already have that bit of a bias that yeah, we're shorting this one. So there's no trade here to do long. All right, so they tested 19. This one tested 19.67. And let's see if it will find that support in that level, 19.67. So 10 cents away from this double bottom, this first second here. 5 minutes, let's look at the 15. So this is the example if we were just patient enough, using the 15 minutes, which is the most, or well, comparing from the 1, 5, the higher the time frame, the more um, consistency or the stronger your bias can be hinged on, just because of course a lower time frame there could be a lot of noise there. But look at the 15 minutes, you have this almost looking like a doji inverted hammer, and if you just short it at 20.02, stop loss at 20.47, I know that's a high wick, but high probability trade because it's a gap down and it went above the pre-market high, and after that just got a rejection from there. And then now looking at the 15 minutes we are still creating that lower low. So Although the 1 minute looks like it's consolidating, the 15 minutes here looks like we are still heading this abrupt, this very steep lower low, lower high. That's why I'm still holding this position right here, just because I have to attend that conference in the next at 10:30 local time, or sorry, local time 7:30. It's about to be 10:30. I would probably just do a trailing orders here. Usually I bring my laptop with me, but with my setup today, I have two screens, and I don't think I'll be able to discreetly uh, bring the two screens there at the conference. That would be uh, that would be very distracting. All right. So we just retested that support right there. Boom. Pass through that support 19.66. Just bunch of consolidation there. But with this stock that had moved down 20.9, there could be some scalpers that can push this one up. But for an investor, swing traders, it will be very risky to scoop this stock all the way here, just swinging for a home run, hoping for a home run. So 10, 20, 5 minutes. We're still at the VWAP here. Let's see. Let's retest again this 19.64, which is next bev is heading lower. Roblox just rejected 42.4. SPY looks like it's about to have the first pullback. And then what else do we have here? All right, 19.68. Waiting for that support to be broken. That support is this 19.64. 66. We're heading to 1961 here. All right, 1961 is the next level here. So the 5 minutes is at least not creating new high, but it's just consolidating though. It might take a while for this one to, the 15 minutes is still very bearish. All right, let's look at our micro here, which is our 1 minute, and then our 5. Okay, 5, 1961, that would be a big flash of order. So we're now 1964 here. Oh, damn. They still are defending that 1969. All right, I want to see that flash of 1961. So that's what I'm waiting for. We have to make sure that our charts are arranged nicely. All right, so I'm waiting for that print for 1960, 1970. Right, where is that 1961? It's still here. So for the past couple of minutes, we are stuck in this range. 1980 is the highest of this body, 1980, and the lowest one is 1965. I'm waiting for that. There you go. Oh, this one is closer where it's getting filled here. So let's see, 67 now, 66. Time is it? 8 minutes. Come on. 67. So yeah, we've just been in that range, 65, 64. We're getting there, 61. it will be a big drop to 61 once we get there because of how massive these orders are. Look at this, we have those two digits right there. So 65, 64, it's like a bold drop right here. There you go. There you go. Perfect. So that one was the print that I was waiting for, 62. So we're now at that support, 19.55. So 19.55, look at this one, 1950 is the next destination here. So 1950, that is the print that I'm going to be waiting here. Look at the volume that surged. The volume was the one that was sitting here at the bid. Where is my 1950 here? Now we have created this new support. So we'll wait for some consolidation to happen again. But this one is heading to 1950. All right, so 1960 support is there. 1960, this level right here is the level that we have touched 1, 2, 3 times already. Once we broke that support, 1960, 1958, then the next here is 1932. That might take a while. Just imagine how long this took. This one, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes before we even retested that support. Um, so let's see how this our 15 minutes looks like. All right, it's gonna test that support quicker than I expected. So look at the 15 minutes. 15 minutes, 1958, 60, big order 1950 here. It will drop like a rock in 1950 here. So 1960, 1960. I would like to see where's the 1950, 1950 here. Where is that 1950? It is in this level. So let's wait for that 1950 to be printed in this tape. 59 now. This is, yeah, a massive drop that will happen there, 1950. All right. Okay, we're at 59, 60. All right, 58. So now we have the support 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the support 4 times that we have touched that level. Let's see. 1950 order here went away. Time is at 26. All right, so SPY, yeah, doing a little bit of a reversal there. 58, 1950, orders is back. We will be going below that 1950. All right, some buyers went through 1960s. All right, 1970. So they did defend that level, 1959, 1970. All right, let's look at R15. Okay, the volume bar here is dying when it's pushing up. 1970s there. Yeah, they defended that level, 19.58. Trying to see whether that is a legit, or if this move right here is supported by volume bar, which, let's see, we do have that hammer right there at the 5 minutes. Volume bar is not there when it's pushing up. We're heading to the VWAP again here, but rejection, 1972. Volume bar not really there. So this move, it was 1958 to 1972. It was actually like almost 20 cents move there. $72. All right, so 15 created that. Almost like a hammer looking at the 15. The low of that hammer is 1958, 1979. So it did just do that consolidation. If this one goes above 1978, then it could reverse from there to the upside. And so this bar right here is just inside this. So what this one can do is just like, our usual inside bar in the daily is it can just retest the high, retest the low. If this one goes above 1978, then this one can have a potential for a reversal. But since we're short, hoping that it get retested 1957 sooner rather than later. So yeah, we can close out on this. So 1970, so there was a rejection in 75. Let's see. This one also has this scroll bar right here. So the 1950 order is still there. It's just all the way at the, yeah, all the way to the bottom of this. Is that a legit order? We don't really know. Someone can just easily cancel that order. But what we can tell is this one had been sitting there since 10:15. So someone is very confident that this one is heading to 950. That's the reason why this makes it bearish, because they're not desperate to hit whatever the current price is to be filled. They know that the stock is heading to 1950, and that's where their orders are sitting at. That's why it's counterintuitive, but also that it's in the bid and it's bearish, but it's also giving you that idea that this one, someone with one 12,000 shares is willing to wait for this to get filled at 1950. So that means 1950 is a possible destination here. And that's how we create those biases with regards to where is it going? Is it bullish? Is it bearish? Based on the volume of those tasks, um, or the volume of those bids sitting in the level 2. So now we have, okay, 1957. That's why we are now watching the 15 minutes, because in 5 minutes there's just a bunch of consolidation that's happening. But if you go to a higher time frame, you will see that it is just retesting that support there, 1959. So 1959, silencing the noise. Looks like we retested that support. This is the third time. And then once we broke that support, then 1950 is highly likely to happen. All right, so 1969, 59 here. Look at this. 60. All right, bunch of orders went through. They are really defending that support right there. All right, that's a big volume bar right there. Let's see. 63,000 shares went through. That's the so far pushing through. That's the biggest one. Thesis that we can do is this, since we are retesting the short 3 times already, is this the shorts that got short squeezed? And will that be the last squeeze there? That's gonna happen before a massive drop. So we get to, wow, look at that, which that's not a big drop, 66 to 62, but how big that wick came through and how quick it is. At this point, it already had that bigger moved. So if I add to my position, I'm actually just covering, like, I only have like 25% left in my shares. But if I add to that position, that means my average cost would not be the best. So that's why I'm just managing this one now, whatever is left. So 1959. Nineteen 65. All right, next support, 1957. There are some bunch of asks now sitting here, which we haven't seen that before. But looking at the tape here, um, level one is this. You have your moving average. We've been trading below those moving average. I'm just waiting for that massive drop because we have tested this support. This is the fourth time, and we're talking about a higher time frame, that 15 minutes. So once we broke that support, which is 1957, expect a massive drop here. We are at that 19.58. So 1958, see, 1950, see this one, it's back. All right, there you go. That's the drop that I was waiting for. We are now heading to 1950. All right, 1950. All right, 1950. A bunch of orders here. We're heading there. We're heading to 1950. Great. Great. Okay. Let's take some shares out. All right, so covered some. All right, so that one was the move. This one still has some room here. Wow, bunch of orders pushed through. All right, let's see here. That's a big pushed up. That was a big wall that was sitting there. How much? 119,000 orders came through. 1950. Okay, that was the big wall that was a big order that went through. So the new support here is that 1950. 1950 there. 1967. What is that 1950? 1950. Right, so we were able to take some shares out here, 1950. Let's see if they're gonna be defending this one. We are back to that strong support as earlier. So we have that big wick that went below. After that big wick, 1950 went all the way to 1972. We're back in that 1965. Is it? All right. Okay, they're pushing this one up. That was a massive move here though, 119,000. So with that 119,000, do we have is the sellers getting exhausted? That's the next question here. Look at how big that volume bar is, but we were able to kind of predict that just because of that bid and the ask that we were monitoring. 1968, we are back in that support, that 1968 right here in the 15 minutes. Now, we don't have that big of an order sitting right here now, the 1950, because it already got filled here. So, if this one have that pushed up, then yeah, it could be the sellers could have just got exhausted. To 69. Not a lot of orders here though, and it's pushing up. Just trying to squeeze whatever is left here. 15 minutes looking like, yeah, it had formed that. We're back at the VWAP, 15 minutes, about to form that hammer. 75. We just created that high. Trying to close all the position here. All right, so all out there. So the 15 minutes had turned the tide there. Here's another support right here. We passed through VWAP. How much of the push are we talking about? That was a big push right there. This is heading to 20 here. So yeah, definitely this one, tides have turned. Let's see if profit takers are gonna come through and take some profits here, because that's already a move all the way to 1950 to 20, more than 50 cents there. Big order went through for 20. So this one, that big volume bar there, sellers got exhausted, and that's why we got that pushed up. It's a big volume bar that came through. See if they're gonna defend that level, 20.2. Let me just reshorting this one. Okay, so with that reshort, average cost 20.10. So just reshorting this one, that's now 20.10 is the average cost. It did have that massive pushed up, but we did see here that exhaustion of the sellers. Look at this big pushed up 1951. Just went all the way up there. So yeah, just this one stock here that we traded. So for the 5 minutes, this is the first lower high here. New resistance there is 20.28. Volume bar here, depleting. Big orders at 20.30. So that can head up right there. This big V reversal here after it reached that 1950 and then just shoot right back up to 20.28. We're still inside bar in 5 minutes. Rejecting that support again. So retesting the support. Money is there. Now we have that support, which is 20. Just waiting for this one. All right, so just gonna close the rest of the position here. Wanted to close, let's see. Press the wrong hotkey. All right, so close the position there. All right, so let's do a recap. This one looks like still has a good, yeah, potential to go back down. All right, so let's see here. Hi, good morning, everyone. It's 10:59, and we just traded one stock, and that is HCP. So HCP had a big gap down at the open, more than 3%, which is our criteria, and it actually opened like more than 15%. So this is the only stock that we trade. And with this stock, let's see here. So this stock looks like still has a way to go down. So now it has 20 as its resistance. And yeah, for today, only this stock is the one that we traded. So December 8th, 2023, 11 in the morning. And what we did with HCP was a short. This one was a bit of premature short. Short this one because we're heading to the VWAP. It's really far from the pre-market high, but I thought it would just break the VWAP, add it to my position, and then got stopped out here. Short again, and then got stopped out here. So first couple of minutes was not the cleanest trade at all. And that's the reason why we waited. And what we saw was this inverted hammer right there, short, added to my position, and it dropped all the way here, and we were able to capture all the way down here. Reshorted here and wanted to cover at the break even, but I added to the short position, so I just went all out. But with having a tight stop loss, that even if we got stopped out right here, but we were able to manage to have this big move, which is 19.5, 20.2, so more than 75 cents there. So with that move, yeah, we are ending strong for the week, and we do have a conference that we have to go through. So yeah, we'll have to cut this streaming early, but I hope you guys had a good trading day, and I hope you guys were able to capture that move. Um, First move was not the cleanest, but we were able to capture this move right here. We shorted, but it just stopped us out at break even. So with that, just one short trade, HCP. I hope you guys had a good trade, and this one looks like we're heading to 20.20. Big order sitting right there at 20.20. I'm still a bit short biased with HCP. We did had that massive move to the upside from 1953 all the way to 20.26 after that big order, which we were able to see in our bid and the ask. We were calling it out that it is going to head to 1950. And sure enough, as soon as it had to 1950, it just shoot right back up. So I hope you guys had a great trading day. And remember that it's a Friday. You don't want to overtrade and you don't want to think about your trade for the rest of the weekend. So be very careful with the stocks that you're going to be trading today. There's not a lot of movers there. That's why we just stick with HCP. So with that, hope you guys had a great trading day, and we'll do this again next time. Thank you for watching.